The 2015 Polyglot Gathering is brought to you by italki. Become fluent in any language.
It's getting quiet here, so should I start on time? No, it's a workshop about Hebrew. I should kind of, wait 5 minutes because we'll never start on time. No, since people who are organized, we can start, but remember, if it's Israel, if you're in Israel, it's okay to be late a little bit, that's normal. Okay, a couple of words about me, and I'm really excited to give this workshop about Hebrew because I've been teaching Hebrew on italki for a year and a half probably, and I really enjoy it. And I learned a lot from my students, and I hope they learned a lot from me. About me and my Hebrew. I am not born in Israel. I always say that, tell all my students, I'm not born in Israel. I came to Israel and made an Aliyah, as they call it. Aliyah, that's how we say, immigration, we're not call it immigration. When Jews come to Israel, ascent, Aliyah. I made an Aliyah to Israel when I was 17 years old. I studied Hebrew before in school, and then I went to Israel, and eventually, all my grown-up life, 15 years there, I spent in Israel, so I consider it my second mother tongue. You cannot have two mother tongues, but anyway, you can have a stepmother or something. So this is my stepmother. Hebrew is my stepmother, and I love it. And but I actually, this workshop is based on my experience teaching Hebrew, so I'm going to talk about grammar, but believe me, it's a kind of, I was just talking about italki. It's kind of, if you've learned, it's meant for absolute beginners who never studied Hebrew before, and if you've been in touch with Hebrew grammar before, you probably noticed that the way I explain grammar is a guerrilla way to explain grammar. I explain as simple as possible, as clear as possible, and yes, and maybe there are more layers to grammar than that, especially to biblical Hebrew grammar. But I explain in the best way there is to start speaking. And here in this room, I've been to so many great workshops. For example, Jimmy Mellow's workshop, and they kind of teach you in 45 minutes. They teach you half of the Portuguese. I'm not exactly gonna do that. What I'm gonna do, what I want to do, is general overview of the language if you never came in touch with it, so that you want to see what's on the horizon. If you plan to study Hebrew, I want you to see what it's all about, what your challenges are going to be. I will talk a lot about alphabet, and I'll talk a lot about grammar, and I'll show the learning resources that are available right now. And basically, I didn't print it out. If you want the list of resources, just contact me. This is my email, and I'll send it. Okay, so first, at the workshop, I always find myself thinking, I wonder, how does this language really sound when you hear it? So I prepared a small video for you. So here, it's this small, but I hope you can see and hear and recognize the characters a little bit to hear some Hebrew before we start. Close the curtain. You want the sound? Because the sound works with phones. Yeah, but this I did not, because I did it before. You were, One second. Do you recognize the characters? Just a little bit funny. I'm sorry, you cannot hear it so well. Yo, excellent!
What does cookies in Hebrew mean?
They're saying Ugiya is a cake, and is a cookie, and he's baking for him a cake. So you recognize the Ugi flats in Hebrew is the cookie monster. We also have the sesame street in Hebrew. In Israel it's very popular. Sesame street. Okay. So that's okay. So what they were singing a song, Lu Haiti Yudesh Tavo Hayom, Haiti Ufel Chawa. If I knew you would come, I would cook you. Okay, let's start with Hebrew. And the first, forgive me, I have it as a kind of see what's my next slide. So I'm looking at you and this thing. Again, I see at the Polyglot conference, nobody's asking if it's a cellular or it's a tablet. It's a cellular they use as a tablet. People here recognize the need to have, big stuff for reading materials, and it's perfect size for aunties. So nobody's asking here. Okay. So Hebrew. The first question about Hebrew is usually as people ask me, when people ask me, what do you speak in Israel? They say, do you speak Jewish? Do you speak Yiddish, Israelish, or whatever? So, not Jewish, not Israelish, not even Yiddish. I will talk about Yiddish later. It's Hebrew, and Hebrew comes from the word Ivrit. We'll say Ivrit in Hebrew, and the etymology of the word is ever, the side from the other side. Historically, Abraham came from the other side of the river, so he is Ivri. He is the first Jew. So it's a synonym for Jew, Ivri. So the language is Ivrit. And what's very important for any language, but for Hebrew even much more so, is the history of the language, because it's one of the ancient languages like Greek, but one of the ancient languages like Greek, and we have probably like Greek, we have Iliad and Odyssey as the central book. We also have a central book. You know what the central book are? Is of course sure. We have the Bible, Old Testament, which is Tanakh. And we see Tanakh, by the way, you see the big letters, that's because it's abbreviation. We call it Tanakh, and because it's the first letters of the three central parts. But forget it. And this is the Bible, that's how it looked like this. The ancient version, modern version, we used to read Bibles in scrolls. That's how it is still read in synagogues in a scroll. Whoever saw Bible in a scroll in a synagogue? Enough people. That's how today you can see a book like that, but for just everyday reading, read it in a book. Do you want to ask something about the book? If you studied Arabic, don't ask. Something about the book? Something else about the book?
Written left to right.
Yes, it's right to left. It's right to left, exactly. Opens from right to left. Now, about the history, the curious thing about the history of this language is that this language is a sleeping beauty. Yes? Who knows what I mean? Okay, so you see I made some kind of small and primitive chart about our timeline. So you see some language, and most languages just develop as from ancient times to today. They just developed slowly and gradually. With Hebrew, it was not the case. And it's important to know, I'm telling it now, not just for general knowledge, but it's important for learning the language and for understanding the language. Hebrew was spoken, and then Jews were sent out of Israel. At some point, they went to the diaspora. And in the diaspora, Jews maintained their language as part of their identity, but not as an active language. So during all this period, centuries and centuries and thousands of years, don't ask me how much, I'm not a historian, and I'm not a grammarian, I'm just a Hebrew teacher. For many years, Hebrew was not spoken actively, but it was read in prayer books. It was read in the Bible. The Bible was read every Saturday, and prayer books were read every day. So it was maintained to a certain level, not as a spoken language. It gave birth also to dialects, which means when we have a community of Jews who know Hebrew more or less, who can read Hebrew, and literacy was kind of high because people, praying, you need to read your prayer book. And Jews inserted words here and there from Hebrew that they knew to the language of the country they spoke. And that gave birth to certain dialects. One of them, as far as I remember, is Ladino. There are much more people, people know better than I do. The most famous one is Yiddish, and you see it's developing until now. I'm putting dots, but probably it could be a straight line. I really don't want to offend the Yiddish speakers. Yiddish is a dialect of it's Hebrew and German mixed together. Now, after all those years, yes, question.
I don't see the Sephardi. Where is it?
Sephardi?
Yeah,
Sephardi what?
because I was told that some people that live in Israel speak something like Sephardi. Does it have anything to do with Hebrew?
No, that's Spanish. Maybe there could be that. No, Sephardi is Spanish in Hebrew.
Ah, okay.
It's not Hebrew. It's the name for Spanish. Yes?
Thinking of Ladino that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, okay, that's the one then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't try it, but
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, fine, that's fine. Now, when Jews came to Israel, eventually, 60 years ago, a little bit before, then Jews were speaking different languages, as you know. Yes, some people, Jews coming from Germany spoke German, Jews coming from Russia spoke Russian, Jews coming from Sfarad, Spain spoke Spanish. And then the decision had to be made. Which language are we going to speak in Israel? And the decision was, as you know already, the decision was that we are going to speak Hebrew for a couple of reasons. One of them, to have one common language which are kind of nobody has any advantage speaking of, and of course, because historically it's Jewish language, but everybody had to be learning this from nothing, from zero, from not knowing to knowing. And imagine having a language that was spoken thousands of years ago, and when you want to use it today, imagine the challenges that the newborn as users, Jews were facing. Can you imagine what kind of a challenge that they meet? Something, an example? What would be difficult?
Vocabulary.
The vocabulary.
There had to be a lot of new vocabulary that they didn't have.
Exactly. Modern comprehension. For example, one example, I will just read about this is Hashmal. For today's use, we really need the word for electricity. And imagine in the Bible there is no word for electricity. Sure. So what do we do? What did we do? What did Ben Yehuda do? Ben Yehuda was the great activist of the Hebrew language. He developed it practically in vacuum. He spoke with his family, with his wife, and with his children Hebrew. When the neighbors, nobody spoke Hebrew. It was a very lonely and interesting story of a language enthusiast. I've heard that some people do the same thing with Esperanto. They were raising their children speaking only Esperanto. Yes? So that's Ben Yehuda did it with Hebrew, and he was a great inventor of the words, which are using, many of which we are using today. So Hashmal is the word for electricity, and we took it from the Bible. It's the name of the fiery angel. Okay, another example. Machshev. Machshev is the word we use for computer, and of course this word did not exist in the Bible. What did we do? Since Hebrew is root-based, as I've been here at the presentation about the Arabic language, which is also root-based, so you take the root, put it into the form, into the template that you need, and you get kind of the sense of if it's a noun or a noun doing something, an adjective of this kind, or just all about the pattern. I'll show you later. So we took the root for thinking or calculating and coined a word for machshev as something a thing that thinks, a thing that calculates. Okay, so it was one of the challenges. Another challenge. Pronunciation. I'll cover the pronunciation in a while. Okay, so the challenge of this type, so far so good. Now, something about the writing system, yes, which is very important for Hebrew because you can teach, as Jimmy Mello was doing here, he was teaching 100% speaking, and you can do it because it's not that difficult to read Portuguese, for example. For Hebrew, you do need to read because the letters are different. As one guy that I've met, I was talking about and telling him, well, I speak Hebrew, and I'm quoting him. He was asking, like, you are using, what kind of letters you are using? I was showing him this type of letters, this kind of letter. He said, oh, who else is writing with these letters? I said, nobody, just we're writing with these letters. And he was really amazed and said, do you have your alphabet all to yourself? Yes, eventually, yes. Okay, so, writing system, we don't have many letters. we have only 22 letters. Not a big challenge, right? Here are the letters. Do you want to ask me something? Do you want to check? Do you want to check me? 22 letters? Yes? Somebody? Not too lazy to count? How many?
You have the vowels in there.
Yeah,
26, there's 4 extra.
you have the final consonants in there to see some of the letters change shape and the
Yes, yes, you already have the answer, and here it is. Well done. These letters, it's just one and same letter, one and same letter, one and same letter. As I've been many times for this Arabic workshop, now I can tell you that that in Arabic it's the same. Every letter has a special shape. We in Hebrew have only 5 such letters, and this is only the ending shape. This is the shape for all the cases. This is the shape it takes at the end of the word. That's it. Less problems than in Arabic, easier than in Arabic, right? But still, 5 letters of this type. Another another peculiarity of Hebrew is that these are, why not, like, do we have only 22 sounds? No, we have more sounds. These are only consonants. Okay, so only consonants have graphic representation. Now, how do we read, how do we write? Those who know Arabic, how can we read without vowels? I can give you a nice example. You can read English without vowels. Do you have trouble recognizing this word? For example, those who know Arabic, what's that? Telephone, easy. Because if you know the word, it's not you don't have any trouble recognizing what it is without vowels. But of course, there are some misrepresentations, misunderstandings, when you don't hear well. For example, nobody knows exactly. Do you know the city Haifa? It's sometimes called Haifa. And nobody knows exactly how it's written, because usually we see it without vowels, and it's called Haifa, sometimes Haifa. The vowels keep shifting and keep changing because they are not set in stone. As I explained to my students, they are not nailed down into the language. The consonants are the vowels. It's just vowels. Okay. Next one. But vowels, it's not that we have no vowels, we do have vowels. The system is called Nikud, and as I read, books for children and poetry and things that need to be really pronounced well, like names for foreign names, for example. You can, they are written with vowels. For example, that's how this one on the right, this word, this is the telephone that we've just read. That's how it looks with the vowels. And this is also a vowel, I'll explain later. And this is without vowels. So these small little tiny dots, these are the vowels, and you can understand why it's not written, because it's really tiny. And it's a later invention, it's not that Hebrew had it all the time. That's how it looks as text with vowels. You really cannot see it from there. It has vowels, it's the picture, it's a book for children, yes? Because children are learning to read correctly. And this is the text for grown-ups that has no vowels. Now, peculiarities of our alphabet. I go on with the alphabet and because it's important, but have patience, I'll move to grammar after that. Another peculiarity of the alphabet, we already told that. So fiyot, the ending letters, 5 letters change their shape when they are at the end of the word. As I explained to my students, it's because they have this peculiar shape, like this half round shape, and it's kind of so weak when it's at the end of the word, it drops its tail down. It's also, it's like sits on the line, and when it's at the end of the word, it just drops, ends the word. Okay, another peculiarity is that some letters change not only their shape, they change their sound when they have a dot inside or near, like these. You can see this is V, this is B. These are only the sound of the letters. Don't be bothered with the name of the letters. It's not interesting. V and B, and the difference is the dot. What do you think? Is the dot written for book printed for grown-ups? No. It's not part of the Nikud, it's not part of the vowels, but again, a small dot. If you can, if you can omit it, you omit it. So you kind of have to know. V or V, H or K, F or P. And this is not exactly the guess, but I think it's my guerrilla grammar. Let's take it together. It's also a dot. So this is sh, this is s, and that's why we have a. By the way, Israel is written with this letter. Israel with this, and Shalom is written with this letter. Okay. Another challenge of our alphabet, another peculiarity of our alphabet is, as you've seen the word telephone before, right? So there is this vowel O. You have, as far as I remember, 5 vowels, like in Japanese, I, E, U, A, O. Yeah. So same thing in Hebrew, 5 vowels, but one of them is special because it's a consonant. Yes, this vowel is a consonant. This is a consonant, but this consonant has a disguise of a vowel. When it has a dot here, it has a disguise of O, of the vowel O. When it has a dot here, it's under disguise of the vowel U. As if it's not enough. It's a consonant that wants to be a vowel. It also has 2 sounds as a vowel. Okay? Okay, and another, as if we didn't have enough, another peculiarity of our alphabet is this, spelling challenges. What's so challenging? This. We have 2 ways to write t, the sound t. We have 2 ways to write the sound h. We have 2 ways to write the sound v. You've already seen that. That's the vowel. That's the sometimes vowel. 2 ways to write the letter k when it has dot inside of it. So, I mean, when you hear people speaking, you usually do not distinguish which is which. But when you write, you better not make a mistake, because if you're, for example, school child, you would get, point off if you make a spelling mistake. Yes?
Also the sound has Aleph and Ayin, which are also pronounced
Aleph
the same
and
way,
Ayin,
isn't it?
yes.
Like if you could write it with Aleph.
With Aleph, it would be a spelling mistake. This is also another point I should have mentioned. I didn't want to go into it, but also we have 2 vowels, 2 consonants, which have no sound at all. But they do have, but they don't. One of them does, is a guttural, it's R, but sometimes not all of us pronounce it. And it has no sound, it just takes, it's transparent, as I explained. It just take the sound of the nikud, of the vowel that's written underneath. And we read in general, we read in Hebrew like in zigzag. Consonant, what's underneath? What's the vowel? Read the vowel. No vowel, read nothing. That's consonant. You read the consonant, go down. What's the vowel? Okay. No vowel. Consonant, vowel, then next, like this, zigzag. Okay. Spelling challenges we covered. Okay, and then are there any native German speakers around us? Yeah. Try to decipher. I just thought it's kind of no, don't think I'm not I read it in translation, but it's something about alphabet. About learning the alphabet. Any guesses? What is the name? Just the name. Sorry. It's ancient German, I'm sorry. If you don't want to go on, just tell me. Any guesses? I've read in translation. Yes, Lucia? Some old sage named Kiot found a scroll, yes, but I cannot read it really. I can get the
very old German.
It's very old German. Heidnische Schriften.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you, talking about Heidnische Schriften, about pagan scripts, pagan script. And we do some adventurous story. And then the character ABC, he had to learn. He had to learn the ABC, and then list for necromancy. It was translated as without the cunningness of necromancy. So he was able to learn the ABC without necromancy, and I wish you the same. I think you can learn the alphabet, just only 22 letters, with all the crazy deviations from logic, but still, you can learn. If he could learn it without necromancy, you all can learn it, without necromancy. It's also interesting, blah blah blah. He could do it because he was a Christian. Okay, now pronunciation. Some of the pronunciation. Pronunciation in general, simple. Nothing so difficult about Hebrew pronunciation. Some 2 letters which are represented in English by just 2 letters. We have 1 sound for ts, 1 sound for ch, and 2 letters which are a little bit foreign for English speakers, not for Arabic. The resh and the ayin, these, and sometimes they are guttural. They pronounce from the down of your throat, but not all the speakers pronounce it. I usually my pronunciation is also is not 100% clear because I was not born in Israel, so it's but again, you can make it better than me. When people speak, you not usually did not hear the I. It's not like in Arabic. It's usually just when it's a vowel it's just Some people will say but usually not really. Okay, now we are on to the grammar part. This is the heart of the presentation, and I won't make you, I won't be ping-ponging you with question and answers. I want to show if you are considering to learn Hebrew, not learn Hebrew, what is it like? So this is going to show you grammar basics. I just took this picture. I don't really understand what you mean. It was correct. You've been watching Doctor Who. Okay, now, word order. Word order is simple. Tell me the student. Shar is sings. Student sings. By the way, try to remember these words. I'll keep using them all over the presentation. Tell me, student, even write it down. We'll meet, student, and student sings, same order, Talmid tov, student good, good student. So here the order is different. So tov is good and we will probably use it. Good. And Talmid tov, shar, student good sings, okay? Probably I write shah, but sings. So, okay. Now, genders. In Hebrew, we have genders. Hebrew is very gender-oriented. It's not. It doesn't go easy with genders. We have. How many genders do we have? People know here. Two genders. We don't have the neutral gender like in German or like in Russian. No neutral gender. Only two genders. But everything is dominated by these genders. We have masculine and feminine. So until now we had this Talmid. Talmid was a student, but not just a student. You can hear this, not just a student, it's a boy student, Talmid. To make this Talmid, boy student, into feminine, into a girl student, you add an R. R at the end is a sign of, here. R at the end is a sign of, is a feminine mark. Also, we have special grammatical form for plural, for girls and for boys. What are the other languages that are doing this thing? I mean,
Czech.
French.
French doesn't.
French doesn't. Spanish. Yes.
You said that for females it ends in an ah.
Yes.
But I thought at and ata is ata is.
If
Art is more than that.
that's an amazing question. We have, yes, the standard way is a, but there are two exceptions. I teach them as two exceptions. One is about at and you. They're addressing you. They switch. They have. You can hear it's a feminine ending, but it's not. It's addressing you in masculine. I teach it about it at the third lesson when I teach beginners, because first I wanted this notion to sit well, that a is a feminine ending. There is another even worse than that. Numbers. The masculine form has the a ending. These are two exceptions. Yeah, which drive you crazy, but it's not the only thing that will drive you crazy. I'm exaggerating that. Yeah. So the plural ending is for masculine plural is im, talmidim. Plural ending for the feminine, talmidot, ot. Okay, so talmid, one boy student, talmidim, many boy students, talmidah, one girl student, talmidot, many girl students. Now we have these words. Okay, so we could say until now talmid, student, is good, tov, talmid, tov. Now we can say it easily, talmid, tov. But if you want to say the same thing about talmidah, about the girl student, what do you think will change? Those who know already, what do you think can change?
The ending of tov.
Ending of the adjective, tova. So it goes like follows. Talmid, no ending, tov, no ending. Talmidah, ending a, feminine ending. Tova, ending a. You see, it's the, Straßenbahn. It's like, yeah, it's like one wagon, another wagon, another wagon. Yes?
Why do you say Laila Tov then? And not
Why do you say
Laila-
Laila Tov?
Yeah, why don't you say Laila Tova then?
Oh, Laila is an exception. There are exceptions. Laila Tov. Laila Tov. Laila Aruch. Yes, Laila Aruch. Laila Chashuv. It's masculine. I'm sorry.
Ah, okay.
Laila is masculine. That's why, by the way, these questions are really good questions, but that's why when I teach beginners, I start with, with strict grammar, with normal rules, with words without deviations. As soon as all the simple, the logical grammar fits, sticks, and then I teach things like Laila Tov and things that, do not fit. But I'm really, as a teacher, I really feel really strong about teaching in a certain sequence, because I really want things to stick. Okay, now let's go on. Tell me do to. Tell me da tova. If you would have talmidim, what would be the ending of good? Tovim. Yes, you're great. You're tovim. You're good. Now tell me dot would be tovot. Great. Now it's not enough. I want to add a verb. They are singing. We have shal sings. Saying z, I wrote z not on purpose because it's he, the boy student, sings. Talmid tov shal. For a girl, talmida tova. What would she do? Shara. That's how he wrote. Talmida tova shara. Now talmidim tovim sharim. Wonderful. Talmidot tovot sharot. Yes, you're great. Absolutely amazing. Now, next slide. One second. Yes. Interesting thing about that we have a series of words with the same ending, and I would wonder, how do you write poetry with that? It's so easy. It's not a rhyme. Talmidim tovim sharim. It's not a good rhyme, right? So yes, it is kind of a challenge for Hebrew poetry. Therefore, rhyming is not simple because, like, same endings, plural endings is not considered a good rhyme. When you write a poetry, think of words that really rhyme. We have poetry that rhymes, but you really have to think hard about it. Why is there a picture of bees? Because chaluzim, rhymes, in Hebrew is it sounds same as, it's the same word for beads. It makes sense, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful? Beads and rhyme is the same word. Like, because like you put them like on a string to make something, to rhyme something, to make words sound as a rhyme. It's like you took a bead and bead. Something. Okay, that's how, for example, that's how our song for children would sound. That is a really small, but I'll try to read it. It's just song for children from some old book written by Leah Goldberg. She's a poet, a famous poet and writer. Just a stupid story. אורי מורי ברא לוויתן. בבוקר אורי פיו פתח, דג אחר דג אליו הלך. In the morning Uri opened his mouth and fish after fish went into his mouth. אוכל בשקט ובנחת. העצמות שם בצלחת. Eating slowly and nicely, putting the bones on the plate. לפתע, במקום דג קטן, נכנס אל פיו הלוויתן. Suddenly, instead of a small fish, a whale entered his mouth. It's a nonsense song. בלע אותו בלי להביט. ניגב את פיו בצחור מביט. He swallowed it without, let's say, blink. It's not what it says, but without a blink. And cleaned his mouth with a napkin. I did. Hoi, מה היה פה? מה קרה? אני עכשיו שמן נורא. Oh, what happened? I'm suddenly very fat. Okay, that's how Hebrew poetry sounds. You see, im, ot are not rhyming here. So she was choosing the correct words. Now, something else about the Hebrew grammar. Good news about Hebrew grammar. As you probably already noticed, there is no M is R. We said Talmid Tov, student good, just student good. No M is R. And as luckily I just went to this Arabic presentation and I've heard from the girl that there is in Arabic same thing. They also have no am, is, are in present. Only the verb to be in general. To be is an infinitive. In Hebrew also there's no question order. As again, I was lucky to be here at the presentation of Zingerman. Now I know that there's in Portuguese also no question order. So yes, we have no question order. Only question what? Intonation. Is the student good? Talmid tov. Yeah, talmid tov. And there are no cases per se. I mean, there are no cases, but there are two kind of prepositions which are functioning as cases. What I mean, Wikipedia explains it as a very nice fashion, but it's maybe a bit difficult to understand. But she has the basically nicest way if you can read it. I'm going to read because modern Hebrew grammar is partly analytical, expressing such forms as dative, ablative, and accusative, using prepositional particles rather than morphological cases. If it makes sense for you, great for you. If not, it says like pencil off the boy, you have the off. So in other languages it would be a case. Of. And for two other cases, we have something like a preposition which functions same as of. Like, I see the moon, אני רואה את הירח. I see at moon. We need this kind of particle in between. So I won't explain more about it, but just for you to know that there is such a thing. Okay, now. Bad news. I have bad news, unfortunately. There is the. Do you know what other bad news about Hebrew? Dreaded verb conjugation.
Hifil and PL and all those strange words. Hifil and PL and all those strange words.
Don't mention those names. Don't mention those. I call them when I teach. I told you it's guerrilla grammar. I told them as groups, and they divide roughly, very roughly. 6 groups, no more, 6 groups, and forget about the PL, if, forget it. Okay.
Because that seemed really confusing when I saw it.
Don't be confused. Don't be confused. If you are confused, that's how it looks. Okay. So these are the awful tables. Now it's clear. Okay, look at it and forget it. You don't need it if you learn like this. We are all people who are learning languages. We are not learning from the tables, really. We learn by using and by some, hacking tricks, and I have a hacking trick for you. An intuitive understanding of the conjugation system is possible. How come? Let me explain. If we keep in mind one specialty of the Hebrew grammar, and this specialty I call, it's my name, nobody calls it like this, the merging tendency. Okay, let me maintain this naming. It's nothing formal, it's nothing written in the books. It's something I've invented and it works nice. Okay, merging tendency. I'll bring several examples. They seem different, but it's very important to get the intuitive, first step into understanding how Hebrew works, as a system. I really like this global approach. Okay, first step would be to understand the prepositions and the article are written together with the word. I mean together. I mean as in one word, like to the bus. You wouldn't see the 3 words, you would see just one. Now, in the bus, here it goes. In the bus, you have be, which is a preposition. Inside, you have this, it's the definite article. By the way, we have the definite article in Hebrew, but we have no indefinite article. Just the definite. You cannot say a bus, you just say bus, it means a bus. But for the bus, you have to say ha autobus. I'm using autobus because it's a cognate sound that you can recognize. Autobus, but the result would not be, like if you say the bus, it would be ha autobus together. Not there. If you say be ha autobus, you merge them. I think it's like it works the same thing in Portuguese. Be and ha merge together. See what I mean? Yes. Yes. It's like be from here and a from here, and you can merge together. Okay, so that's how the small particle, the preposition and the definite article merge together. Now, for autobus, same thing happens with another. For example, another preposition to. If you want to say to the bus, Can somebody venture and tell me how would you say to the bus? Yes.
Autobus?
L'autobus. You knew that.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. Well, hold up. Sorry. Hold up. L'autobus, exactly. That's how it looks. In Hebrew, l'autobus. Now, second example. Something else. Now to something completely different. No, not yet. Prepositions are written together with the personal pronoun. Personal pronoun like ani, I, ata, as you mentioned, you, and other personal pronouns. It looks like I, ani. Here's the example. And two prepositions. Let's try to keep them in mind. Like only these three words, not too many words. Le is in the direction of, be is inside something. When we merge them in I, like in me. In English we would say in me, in Hebrew it's in and I merged together. Be and ani. Any guesses?
Bunny?
Bunny. Shorter. Less. B. Two and I, le and ani. Li. Yes, exactly. So now these two steps are very necessary because I suggest you view the conjugation, the direct conjugation, as something of the same type, and then afterwards you tell me in which languages it works the same. I bet there are languages that behave in the same awful way on what Hebrew does. Here's the third example. Verb written together with the personal pronoun, like I went, I will go, okay? I spoke, ani, and then goes the root. I wrote it like this because it's the root. These are the root letters. It's very important to know that Hebrew is the root-based language. So if you've been at the presentation about Arabic, she showed it very nicely that people, like bakery and the cake and the muffin would all have like the same consonants in the middle. Same thing works with Hebrew. For related words that has the same concept, like in the bottom, they do sound a little bit familiar because they have the same consonants in the middle. Most of them, I'm generalizing. So ani, I. Then goes the root. And if you merge I and speak, you can form either I will speak or I spoke. Yes? It would look like this. Ani dibarti. So dibr is the root. I comes from ani, from I. I think that's so difficult to do it like just standing on one leg, yes? That's a Hebrew expression, probably doesn't work. Like standing on one leg means like very fast. Al ragil achat. In Hebrew we say al ragil achat, means very fast. And if you want the future, for the past, I would say take the last letter of the pronoun, of the personal pronoun, and put it at the end. If you want to, at the end of the root. Here's the root, and then E from ani, the last letter. If I want to make the future, I'll take the first letter of the personal pronoun and put it at the beginning of the root. And you get this thing. Adabel. More or less, you get the idea? I think it's not, no. Not really. At the moment, and when you decide to learn Hebrew, again, I'm trying really to force you into some kind of globalistic understanding of how it works, but when you start learning Hebrew, and then all of a sudden you remember, oh, I've been to that workshop, now I see how it works. Okay, some Hebrew grammar treats, something easy, that's it, difficult part is over. Relax now. Special word, there is special word, but there is and there is no. Yes, special word there is and there is no. For Russian speakers it may be easy. Russians also have it yes and нет. Okay. But for English speakers I usually have to explain it no. And it's not there is and then no. There is or there is no. It's yes or aim. Okay? Another tree. Special plural for doubles. Not like Oreo double, but special like you say if you want to say 2 months, you say months. And it's the plural for doubles. Like chodesh, 1 month. Chodashim, months. Chodshayim, it's the double ending, like 2 months. And the interesting thing is that the double ending, it's not only about numbers like 2 months or 2 weeks or 2 days, but also for double things like glasses, mishkafayim. It's double because like mirror reflection, it has 2 parts. It also is a double plural ending, which is kind of funny. Also trousers, michnasayim, it has this double plural ending. And yes, scissors, misparayim, it also has this funny double plural ending, which is nice. Now, Hebrew words and other languages, that's fun. That's the fun part of the presentation. Now, Some words you would probably recognize as an English speaker, chutzpah. Who knows that one?
Chutzpah.
Yeah, chutzpah, like impudence, like being rude. Chutzpah. It enters English just as it is. This one is nice. This is saraf, and it entered English as it is in the translation of the Bible. Seraph, seraphim, that's an angel again. I mentioned angels too much. This one entered Russian, but it came into Hebrew from Russian, to which it came from Turkish, I think. This is balagan. Somebody knows what balagan means? Yes. You know that one. Oh, yeah, I know you know that. No. Somebody knows? Somebody, what's balagan? Russian speakers here? No. Balagan is okay, then you say it. Yes? Yes? No. And you say it.
Italian could be casino.
Casino? No, it's not from casino. It's not casino. First of all, in Hebrew, balagan is a mess, which is a key concept. The culture is a cultural concept. It's very important for us, for Hebrew learners to know the word balagan, because everything is balagan. You know, you come to an office like, what's that balagan? Is what's this mess? Balagan is everywhere. It's a mess. It comes from Russian. Russian balagan is also a mess, I would say. Yes, I would say. But from Turkish, and at some point it was a kind of tent, a circus tent. That's the etymology of the word, and it came from Turkish. Further than that, I don't know. Now, there's something. Now, this one you will like. Germans. That's for German speakers. Schmielerstein. Did you know that's from Hebrew word Schmira?
Yeah.
Schmielerstein. Now, next one is Freier. German speakers blushing. Somebody goes to public places. Tachles, again, Berliners know they had a place called Tachles here. It was I think it was opened by Israelis, and it means I forgot to explain. Sorry. Shmira. Shmira is guard, staying on guard. It's the common profession that people do in Israel when they lose their work and they have nothing else to do. They go shmira. They go being a security guard. Shmira is security, or being like the profession of a security guard. Shmira. Freier is in Hebrew. It's not like in German, not at all. Freier is someone you're not supposed to be. Freier is someone who does not understand his own interests. Freier is someone who buys things to for expensive price, and he's not thinking about the money. Like Freier, what is the money? Freier, like what are you? A loser? Freier is loser in a way, but loser like in terms of like
The other ones are losers too, so I think that's quite the same.
And tachlis is a nice word that means like the fact. What like the fact? Tachlis, like really, indeed. What do you need? Tell straightforwardly. Tell me what you want. That's tachlis. What do you want? Something else. These are just I think as a cultural concept. It's nice, and it's nice in connection to the German. I thought it's very unique for Israel and Israeli culture, which is not beseder. Beseder means. I'm translating to German, in Ordnung. And I've already mentioned that be is a preposition in, if you remember that, be, and seder is order. So we have balagan, which is mess, we have seder, which is order. Beseder, in Ordnung. And when I came to Germany, I was surprised to learn that beseder, in Ordnung, that's what we say in German also, in Ordnung, beseder. In Hebrew it's used as okay, or also, in Ordnung. Next one, I thought it's unique to Israel, but it's not. This is sablanut, and you use it with this gesture, sablanut. It's not like in Italian. Sablanut means patience. Like, wait, sablanut. You can also, when you cross a street, you cross a street and there is a car coming. It's a sablanut. And then I came to Germany, and at some office they told me geduld, noch geduld. Oh, yeah, here they also say. Okay. This is interesting. For Russian speakers, not many Russian speakers, maybe another, tell me where it works again. It works so nicely in Russian, and I have to, in English, for English speakers, I have to explain it with so many words. This verb is read as leha speak, and to English I translate it as have enough time to do something. Have enough time to do something. Yeah? One word. In Russian, also have one word, uspеть. What other languages can you translate in one word? Slavic language. Leha speak. And yeah. Okay, this was nice. This one is nice. Davka. That's like we've just discussed the word special for German, which is doch. Yes, dafka is word special for Hebrew. It means it's like besonderes, but not like dafka. Why do you want dafka this? Why do you say dafka this and not something else? Like why dafka? Dafka. Yes.
Ausgerechnet.
Ausgerechnet, ausgerechnet. Yes, yes, yes. And you also can do something. Do something on purpose to make somebody like nervous. Like it's lasot bedavka, to do bedavka means like do something to annoy somebody. Like, okay, and the last one, just like it because you have it all over Israel. That's mazgan. Mazgan is an air conditioner, and I was surprised to see that there is inside it's root based. So we have here mezek is the root for weather, and until recently I did not realize that. It has something. I mean, probably the logic comes from German because, like in English, it doesn't work. Air conditioner. We have air and conditioner, and here it's something connected with weather. Klimaanlage. How it's connected? Okay. You think it's the end? Sorry, no, it's not. It's in soft tamid hatchala. Ending is always the beginning. So the beginning, learning resources. I have collected a whole list of learning resources. If somebody wants, I can send them. Just write me an email. Write to you from Polyglot conference. You want to study Hebrew and you want a list of my resources. These are the resources. First resource is Morphix, which is a nice online dictionary. It's the best online dictionary so far. And in general. And some resources for beginners. But let me tell you, I don't want to discourage you, but resources for beginners are scarce and not good enough. So you've seen how many crazy things we have about the alphabet, and probably nobody explains it. So that's why many people start and they just let it go and just don't want to continue, because just the beginning is kind of discouraging and that also. Basically, yes.
Is it possible to live in Israel without knowing Hebrew?
Yes, it's possible. Not uncomfortable, but yes, possible, absolutely. I know people who don't speak Hebrew. My father. He was an actor once, so he's just speaking his gestures and it works. So Teach Me Hebrew side is a nice one. So I can, this is the dictionary. This is the Teach Me Hebrew. It's the best site. It doesn't look nice here, but it's the best site so ever. Again, it has lessons, but you can do it better. Some jokes in Hebrew, and Link Q has Hebrew now. Good news. Okay, and some more sites for intermediate learners, very good sites. I also collected slang word list, authentic materials for the upper intermediate. I'm moving to something here. Books. There are 3 books I can recommend, but they all have disadvantages. Ivrit min ha'hatchala. It's a wonderful book, 2 thick volumes. It goes awfully slow. But as reading material, just take text from there, read, translate, and that would be enough. It's a good book, but to start from it, I do not advise. It like methodologically, it's not good. This one, methodologically excellent. It's an old one, but it's in Russian.